So, I'm talking about today voices in my head. And there's one particular voice in my head that suggests he needs attention. He likes me to talk about him. He wants me to talk about him. And I call him Seth because, well, that's just how I keep track of what's going on with everything as I name my voices. And I named this one Seth. Oops. And I named this one Seth. And, Seth likes attention. The most notable thing about Seth is he likes attention, because I talk about him and then he shows up in my head and it's like he has an expression with his address, the way he addresses me, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Every time I talk about him, he shows up later. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm happy now. How you doing?" And I'm like, terrible. You're in my head talking to me and you're not real. So I don't want to be here anymore. But it's my head, so you need to leave. And then he doesn't. And, the struggle is real. The sense of security that these voices threaten is my authentic sense of security. They are legitimately affecting my livelihood negatively. And I'm just shutting down. I'm just hiding inside myself, and I'm just trying to get through these days lately. And on the one hand, it was good because I had PTSD. I tried to have a good day. I tried to raise everyone's spirits, and we all have a good day together, and that feels even better, And, now I have these voices in my head. I shouldn't call it schizophrenia. It's not diagnosed yet. It seems like schizophrenia to me because I'm hearing voices, but the doctor said, no, that's not necessarily schizophrenia or anything. People hear voices. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just another one of them. And I don't mean to be negative to people that hear voices. I mean to be insightful to all people of, maybe learn from my success or failure, accomplishments or shortcomings, is that the struggle is difficult. There needs to be more awareness of schizophrenia. It's taboo. You say schizophrenia, everyone's like, oh, schizophrenia. Oh. And in reality, it's like, yeah, people have a mental capacity to hear voices. Who knows what goes on that leads to hearing voices? Maybe it's a certain breed of people. Maybe it's a certain level of stress. Maybe in that stress it's a lack of ability to express your emotions, and then your emotions implode into voices manifested from your sufferings of an inability to express. And I was talking to my friend, and he was like, dude, look, Mary is acting like a woman for you. That could be sexual repressed emotion that you failed to express, and it's not Mary that's dying to get out, it's that part of you that's dying to get out. And if I was gay, it would be time to come out of the closet. I'm not gay. And it's not time to come out of the closet. I'm out of the hearing voices closet. Here I am, world. I hear voices. And, it feels better this way. I imagine it tends to feel better out of the closet. I mean, if you can negotiate your way into comfortably being out of the closet. Because I know there's things that make it hard for us to live our lives judgment-free and stressor-free. But if I'm being honest, I made a video yesterday. I feel great about expressing it. I have this hope and I feel like I'm on a journey. I might have some bad days in the future, but I might have some good days, all things considered, accordingly to the voices. And so, to get back onto the voices, Seth, this guy's a maniac. He's not as aggressive as Tom, Adam, and Mary, but he is there. And I'm having fun identifying the facets of my life that pertain to the notions of these voices. I'm not saying I'm going to have this groundbreaking testimony that's going to open up society's eyes to the realities of hearing voices. But what I'm saying is going through those motions, which is natural for us to want to help each other, I think, Do I want to help people have less stress, less suffering, less struggles about hearing voices? Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'm putting my cards on the table. The hand I was dealt, it's crummy, but, if there's a way to win, I'm after it. I want to do that instead of just, become a man that just is to himself, reserved to himself, is entertained by his voices, spends his days talking to them, stops living his life, starts hearing his voices. And I'm trying not to go down that road, and I'm worried that I'm suppressing more self-expression, or whatever you want to call it, expressing who I am to my society and getting along with my society fully, and us thriving together fully, which most societies I've lived in America, they're not desiring what I'm desiring. They're just jaded and cold people, and they just keep going with that negative energy. And I'll even show up judgment-free, hey, let's have some good energy in our day. And they're like, who are you? Don't you know how the world works? The world works so hard this way, you're never gonna change it. And I'm just like, well, hey, maybe I can have a good day, And it's like, maybe I'm not gonna change the world. Maybe I would someday. That would be awesome. But I don't want to get overwhelmed with this negative energy and just shut down. And these are some of the feelings I've associated to the stressors that were in my life leading up to hearing these voices. I'm 34, and I had not heard voices like this. And I prayed to God, and I listened for His voice, and I tried to hear His voice, and I found it in the scriptures, and I found it in the love in the world, and the true nature of love in the world spoke to me as if it was God, and there wasn't necessarily a mouthpiece to my interactions with God where I felt He was speaking to me and He loved me. But, I don't know if it's schizophrenia or not. But what it might be is stress to hear voices. And, some of these other voices are super minor. There's a drunk bum in my head. And it's just like, oh, haha, he's trying to talk right. And I don't want to name him. He's so minor. I just want to name the majors and get this sorted. Get this sorted out. Find my best path to move forward and just start walking. But the drunk bum, he's always trying to get things right. I don't want to name him anything because drunk bum is my favorite name for this guy. He's insignificant as can be. And he's just sitting there trying to figure out how to talk right. Like bums, might tend to do is the method that he's, taking this in. Oh, no one takes me seriously, but hey, I'm talking right now. And it's like, okay, well, you're not annoying, you're not aggressive, you're not funny, because he's a voice in my head, and that's not funny to me. That's disturbing. And I just I'll just leave them alone and focus on the ones that are aggressive, I think. But that's 2 more voices in my head. And these are the feelings associated to hearing those voices. So I just wanted to put this on YouTube, put it in that part of my brain, hopefully express myself and find some hope, to move forward, find a breakthrough in progress of moving towards inner peace, away from the struggle that these voices pose. And I just wanted to put this on YouTube for that reason. Maybe my family watches it later down the road. Maybe it gets erased off of YouTube. Maybe it helps someone, some one way or another. And I feel all right about it. And so that's my video.